coming off the bye week, how good is it to kind of for you guys to get refreshed and just kind of get back to playing football now after just kind of a week to kind of recover a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, like you just said, just having that time to get our bodies back under us, and just take a little time to ourselves and just try and comprehend what's happened thus far in the season and prepare for the rest of the season. That was good. Got some good work in practice last week as well. Just got better overall. So it was good to let our guys get some rest for their bodies and be prepared to go for the rest of the season.
How do you guys kind of try to comprehend? I mean, this 3-game losing streak has been just kind of a test of different things. But how do you kind of comprehend it now with a week to kind of just think about it, self-scout, and do what you guys usually do?
Yeah, I mean that's a great question. Just taking it week by week, I guess I would say, and just understanding that the things that happened in the past happen, and even though we're on a 3-loss streak, not taking it to heart and playing the next week, playing this week to the best of our ability, and understanding we're playing well in spurts, but we have to be more consistent. Just looking within ourselves, I feel like we did that during the bye week, to see what the issues are and try and knock them out.
You guys were on a bye last year, I believe, and won that game. I know you guys don't try to compare years, but just for the veterans, does that kind of give you some experience to say, hey, this is how we know how to take care of ourselves, assess, and just focus for this week coming up?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we try and do that every single week to a certain extent, but yeah, last year, who was it after the bye?
SMU.
Yeah, SMU, and now they're a ranked team coming to our place too, so there's kind of some similarities to a certain extent, but it's a completely different team, new year, and we're playing a completely different opponent in UCF, who has a really good defense. So just excited for the opportunity to play against another ranked team and hopefully show what we're capable of.
It's a ranked team at home, homecoming weekend, coming off a bye week. How much does the atmosphere of the weekend going to add to the excitement of getting back out there?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're all ready and amped up to get back on the field and show what we're capable of doing. I feel like a lot of people, I'm just speaking for myself, I guess I would say, but just excited to prove ourselves and try our best to win the next 4 games, you know what I'm saying? Just because if you look at our season, or you look at the last 3 games, there were losses, but there's small things, small details that would easily turn those into wins, in my opinion. So it's unfortunate that we lost all 3 of them, but just got to continue pushing forward and know that we're capable of winning out.
And I know you don't want to harp on those last 3 games too much, but to your point of a lot of good things were done in each of those games. Do you guys draw from those individual things as you go into UCF?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'd say, you're always drawing from positives from games that you lose or win. Just even if you lose the game, you're still, 1 point away from winning, or if you lose on a last-second touchdown, things like that. At the end of the day, we still played the game and played to the best of our ability and tried our hardest. So, I mean, there has to be good things that came out of those games, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't all just terrible. So always taking things into consideration from those games to try and use the good things we did in the, next weeks.
How does this UCF defense maybe compare, or not? What stands out about them, and do you see some similarities with other defenses you've seen this year?
I mean, what stands out about them is that, their DC really trusts them. I feel like, especially in the secondary, that he'll put them on islands, and they're really good in the back end, play a lot of man-free, things like that. Just athletic guys, long. But, I mean, I wouldn't really compare them to any other defenses we played thus far. They'll play a lot of man. They're a confident bunch, and they've only allowed more than 30 points, I think, 1 game against ECU. So they're obviously pretty talented or pretty well coached. So we'll have our work cut out for us, but our staff is doing a great job, and our guys have the right attitude.
I know every week excites you, but are you kind of excited to see them because you only could see them from the sidelines last year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they've never seen me before, so they're up for a challenge too.
To your point about, there are going to be some DBs left out on some island. Is that going into that game? Do you think maybe you can exploit that a little bit? Ex receiver, basically it's just your man versus that man.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, your man versus that man. It's one-on-one, like win your battle type of game. Everyone on the field, though, offensive line, receivers, running backs, myself, everyone has to win their one-on-ones. That's one of the things that the coaching staff has been harping on. So, I mean, yeah, that'll be a big indicator of if we win the game or not, is winning our one-on-ones from an offensive standpoint against them.
Ryan told us, or Sophie told us that obviously, Gabe is probably getting healthy, being back. What does it mean kind of having, obviously you trust all your receivers, but just with his versatility, what does it mean having him on the field just because he can do so much, whether it's the sweeps or obviously throwing a little bit, but what does it mean having his weaponry on the field?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he started the season out pretty hot, and he was one of our go-to guys, really, and then, kind of banged up a little bit. But obviously defenses key him and pay attention to him. But, I mean, we have a couple guys on the team that I feel like defenses have to key. So having a lot of, weapons on offense, Joe, teams have been keying him, saying he's a deep threat, and they'll get a lot of depth in their drops, stuff like that. And then Woody in the red area, obviously, he's been scoring a lot of touchdowns. So defenses are, pouring him out and stuff like that. And then obviously Gabe was our #1 receiver. And then getting him back in the rotation healthy, that's obviously a huge plus for us, just to be able to stretch the field and make shots downfield.
You said Eddie or Woody?
Woody, pre-scoring.
Where does Woody come
Yeah,
from?
explain that name.
I guess he looks like Woody. I mean, that's just what I was told whenever I came here as a freshman. His name's Woody. So I was like, okay, nice to meet you, Woody. So I think it's because he looks like Woody, but don't quote me on that. I'm not sure.
Toy Story.
Yeah,
right?
Woody from Toy Story.
I love that movie. I love it too. It took us 8 games to get a nickname for that guy. Nickname.
Yeah.
Speaking of pre-scoring, just you obviously, I think the ECU game you guys went to him a little bit early, but you guys have obviously spread the ball around. But just how have you seen him grow from just being more comfortable in his first season to where teams are keying on him and he's still finding ways to adjust and make plays?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I just feel like he's got more confident and more comfortable just being on the field on Saturdays because this is really his first season on the field playing tight end, really, since he played quarterback in high school and then didn't play too much last year, the years prior. So, I mean, just being able to get on the field, I feel like that builds confidence, and then making catches early on just, got him rolling a little bit, and now he's just making contested catches and things like that. So I feel like he's confident in himself, and he definitely works hard enough, knows the playbook, and knows the situational awareness to make plays during, whatever the situation may be or whatever the defense is giving us. So he's playing really well. So good for him.
For you guys, how do you guys try to deal with maybe some of the outside noise surrounding the program? Obviously, during the bye week, you probably get, it's harder to ignore some of it. But how are you as players, even if you try to block it out, how are you guys processing it maybe to kind of, focus on the task at hand and not let that kind of get to you a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, that's always kind of my mentality, is to focus on the task at hand, which is football. So I try my best to be in the moment and try my best to stay on the field and, in the meeting rooms and not pay attention to that kind of stuff. But obviously there's definitely a lot of noise, a lot of chatter. It's kind of disappointing to me just because we're 2 plays away from being 6-2, and then, 2 other special teams plays away from being in that game way more against Tulane. So, I mean, at the end of the day, things didn't really bounce our way. But as long as we finish the rest of the season the right way, then I feel like the noise will quiet down a little bit, and people will look back at the season and be like, that was a good team.
It sounds like you guys are somewhat aware of it. So, as like the team leaders, how do you guys try to talk to it amongst yourselves? I know the coaches are, but how do you guys handle it among yourself as players dealing with that?
I don't really talk to the players about anything of that nature. They might be talking about it, and there may be drama inside the locker room about it, but I'm not aware of it as one of the team leaders. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we just got to play football, and we just got to win games, and then things will work out for us. But we lost those 3 games. Those are in the past, so we're on to this week.
Thank you, Seth.
Thank you, guys.